Good morning, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you might be doing. We wish to welcome you to the Silverlight Show. The Silverlight shines to illuminate that which lies hidden in darkness. For those of you tuning in to our expose on the tax organizations in the world willingly targeting the low income, we welcome you in. Just a quick note before we start. I am in the office again, but I'm having to keep everything quiet. Can't use my normal voice, so hopefully this is better than last time. I'm not clearing my throat as much. That was a freaky incident. But before we go any further, I'd like to thank our sponsors. First, our oldest sponsor, at Affinity WES. That's at Affinity Writing and Editing Services. If you do anything whatsoever with words, they can help. That's at Affinity WES on both Twitter and on Facebook. Hippie Witch Vibes on Etsy.com. That's Hippie Witch Vibes. The owner has a substantial amount of products she sells in the mystical and health community. I'm quite fond of their teas, but they offer so many products and the owner is expanding their inventory all the time. So, if you want to try something a little different, definitely go to Hippie Witch Vibes. That's HIPPIEWITCHVIBES. Hippie Witch Vibes on Etsy.com. I'm here to tell you today that what you've always suspected is true. The system is stacked against the little guy. And I'm not just saying that being some bitter person who feels like they haven't gotten their way their whole life or thinking that somehow I'm owed something I'm not. No, I have real evidence. Just before the pandemic, there was a rather interesting inquiry by Oregon Senator Ron Wyden. He wanted to know why a lower proportion of lower income taxpayers are being audited. Now, this is being reported in Fox Business, but it's also in Forbes and everybody else. And this comes from October the 7th, 2019. So literally a couple months before this crisis hit. Isn't it interesting when a crisis hits involving anything financial with the United States, something happens to distract us? In 2001, there was a big Pentagon budget problem. They were missing $2 billion. Where did it go? Nobody knows, because 9/11 happened shortly thereafter. In 2007, the Pentagon had problems again. What happens? We have a world financial crisis. And here, they start auditing the IRS, and within months, everybody is locked down. The gentleman in charge of the IRS and present is named Charles Rettig. His proper title is Commissioner Charles Rettig. And he's admitted it's an easier and less costly task to go after low-income individuals as compared to auditing higher income tax returns. Now, in the United States, there's a low-income package, which is called the Earned Income Tax Credit, the EITC. There's something similar in almost every country. I was actually looking at it in the province of Ontario the other day, and we absolutely do have it. But what Charles Rettig says, and this is a direct quote from his own letter to Oregon Senator Ron Wyden, EITC, that's the Earned Income Tax Credit, EITC correspondence audits are the most efficient use of available IRS examination resources, with the average time to complete the audit of 5 hours per return. By comparison, it takes an audit on a taxpayer with an adjusted gross income of $10 million or more, 61 hours to 251 hours per return. Now, do you know why that is? why it's 5 hours to get money out of a poor person and it's 61 to 251 hours to get one out of a rich person? Very simple. Rich people can hire lawyers. Poor people are more likely to just try to get it out of the way, find the money, pony it up, and send it into them. So artificially, it looks like it's a more efficient use of taxpayer money to go after the little guy, because they can say, haha, look at all these cases we've resolved efficiently. Yes, because those are the people most afraid. Now, who appointed Charles Rettig Commissioner of the IRS? None other than President number 45, Donald Trump. And we know his tendency to stomp on the lower people of the world. I don't need to document it here. It's been documented on so many other channels. So Charles Rettig is a Trump disciple, a Trump lackey, if you will. And he's saying it's just not worth his time to go after the rich people, despite the much bigger payoff, despite the much greater opportunities for tax cheating. It simply costs too much time, 5 hours as compared to a minimum of 61. Literally, he's telling you he's picking on the low-hanging fruit. So, since he decided to pick on the low-hanging fruit, I decided to take a look into his life. And boy, I can tell you, I found some pretty interesting things. Now, initially, you go to Wikipedia, you look at him. He's a pretty normal fella. He's married to one spouse, 4 children, including 2 stepchildren, and got his Bachelor of Arts. He's got a licensed practitioner for taxation from New York University School of Law. This guy ain't a dummy. He was a partner at a Beverly Hills tax controversy law firm, which means he represented individuals and corporations before federal and state taxing authorities. He worked there for 36 years. So you can't say he doesn't know that the big boys do commit fraud, because he used to represent them. He has huge experience in working for the government, dating back to 1999. He was a member of the taxation section of the State Bar of California since 1999. He was appointed to the IRS in 2010, and he's come all this way through. Now that's the legal advisor. He wasn't actually made commissioner until 2018. He's always been an advisor. But in 2018, he was given his power. And he's been very supportive in supporting Mr. Trump. At his nomination to being the commissioner, he received criticism for failing to disclose $1 million worth of money that he put into the Trump Foundation. $1 million worth of rental income he had made from Trump-branded hotel rental units. So he's misrepresenting not only what he's donating, but the money he is making. Very interesting. And this is a guy who's saying it's more efficient to go after the little guy than to go after the big guys. Now, let's say some things on the positive. He works for the UCLA Extension Vets Count Scholarship Fund. So they're trying to get scholarships for active duty and retired military professionals. Now, he's in the Wounded Warrior Project, but everybody likes to get involved in that to prove their patriotism. Sorry, as a veteran, knowing how hard it is to get anything out of them, they're much better served just giving their money to some of the vets. Now, I went through this, and he's also an associate member of something called the Academy of Martial Arts. Sorry, Magical Arts. The Academy of Magical Arts. Why would a multimillionaire that's a deputy of a multi-billionaire be a member of the Academy of Magical Arts? Interesting little thing to follow up on there. Turns out this Academy of Magical Arts is a pretty big deal. It's a clubhouse for magicians and magic enthusiasts in Los Angeles, California, and it bills itself as the most unusual private club in the world. Many celebrities have performed there, doing magic, just palmist tricks, mentalist tricks, all that sort of thing. But the celebrities who perform there are not known for being magical performers. Orson Welles, more known for his acting and voice work. Johnny Carson, known for his comedy. Steve Martin. Now, Steve Martin I can see doing a little bit of sleight of hand, given his career, but it's not the primary focus. And also Neil Patrick Harris, singer, comedian, writer, producer, and television host. Also, you might know him for Doogie Howser, MD. That's a very peculiar list of people to be performing sleight of hand magic tricks. Now, the Magic Castle is where the Club of Magicians gets together, and they like to keep it classic. There's a strict dress code enforced, and it's a full, tuxedo, dinner jacket kind of deal. There's no visible doors to get into this place. You have to whisper a secret phrase to an owl at the entrance, the sculpture of an owl. Now, the Academy of Magic has you whisper a secret phrase into the statue of an owl. This thing was established well before Harry Potter was a thing. And for those of you who know anything about the Bohemian Grove, they have an oath there about owls being welcome but spinning spiders to go away. There's a secret war between the owls and the spiders. It doesn't show up, but you notice it the closer and closer you look to the symbolism. Why would you have to whisper a secret phrase into the owl? Well, obviously, there's a microphone in there. They're making sure you know the password. Just like Spectre and James Bond, you have to know the password to get into the secret clubhouse. That movie was filmed by somebody who knew a little bit too much. Among the various people that are there, they have a ghost who plays piano, and that's supposedly Irma. There's Houdini seances in the castle, and the club is said to be haunted by the ghost of Houdini. So even though this thing was established in 1909, they're claiming Houdini was a regular member. They even have a junior branch, ranging in age from 13 to 20 years old, who perform in the close-up gallery. So the Academy of Martial Arts, or Magical Arts, it's hard to say Academy of Magical Arts. The Academy of Magical Arts, officially established in 1962, uses this castle with the owl out front to let people know exactly who's welcome there. The owl and the spider. Who is the spider, you might ask? I might do a whole episode of that one day, but that's the traditional European nobility. You'll also notice it's heavily associated with Nazis. Again, that's another show, a very long show. The Academy of Magical Arts has a membership of about 4,800, and they have branches all over the world. It was originally created as a magazine, and it was used as both a reason for Hollywood celebrities and the big people to socialize, but as you can see, they're bringing in tax accountants. Tax accountants are renowned for their ability to move something without it being noticed. It's just financially, instead of moving a rock from under one cup to another. But you'd imagine somebody in that line of work would definitely be well served by learning both sides, the physical illusion and the financial illusion. Financial illusions are easier than they seem to be. As we said last episode, Bill Gates and Ted Turner are making an illusion of buying farmland. Not because they want to be farmers, but because they want to be able to do tricks behind the scenes. And that's what Commissioner Rettig is doing. He's out in front of everybody, pulling the biggest con job of all. And even though he used to be a lawyer representing the rich, he's telling us all, oh no, the profit is to be made in going after the little people. Because we need more resources. That's right, he has turned this all into a fight about resources. He needs more money and more time to be able to go after the big fish. Instead of going after the big score, he's playing at the 5 and dime table. Let's go back to James Bond reference Casino Royale. He's not going after the players at the big table. He's going after the people at the slot machines who realistically never have a chance of winning anything. That's his mentality. But he hides it very brilliantly. It's most interesting that a man who attended a college for academic instruction in magical arts, that he would be able to announce all this and then have it buried under the wave of a global pandemic. Right from the start, the news was telling us it was going to be big. We didn't know how big, but we knew it was going to be big. Right from the start, they were announcing it, in the United States especially so, which is peculiar considering that supposedly the first cases were in China, and, most importantly, the cases that existed at that point were minor, but in a matter of a couple months, the whole world was getting shut down. We're down to essential services. We can't go out on the streets. This, that, the other thing. Within no time, the United States and India surpassed China for being the number one most infected places. Very convenient for Commissioner Rettig. Very convenient. Because it put a dead stop to the inquiry into his practices. And by the way, I might note, he never even showed up for his inquiry. He did it from home. This is before the pandemic, so appearing in person would have been considered normal and natural. This is before the whole working from home idea became popular. So what did Charles Rettig have to gain from not appearing? Nothing. If anything, he lost credibility by not showing his face. But, being the man he was, he knew he could bluff his way. He knew something we didn't. And that's what the best illusions are made from. Somebody knowing something you don't. First of all, that they are targeting the low-income people. And secondly, he could admit it then because nobody would even think about it in a matter of months. So if you have time, look up Commissioner Charles Rettig and look up the Academy for Magical Arts. You're going to find a lot of very interesting things about both of them. We wish to thank you for joining us on the Silverlight show. We hope this has been an interesting episode for you. If you want to support the show, there'll be a link in the description about where you can go. We always like you to buy our books just because we like to give you something in return for your money and not just beg like other YouTube channels. And if you want to get in touch with us, it's silverlightservices@gmail.com. silverlightservices@gmail.com, or give us a shout at Silverlight Live on Twitter. That's at Silverlight Live. Thank you for listening to the show, and have a great day.